Hi Pathlings. Well, today we're going to talk about how to cast a circle. Now, if you were to do an internet search on this, you'd find a limitless number of ways in how to do it. There's going to be tradition-specific ways, there'll be group coven ways to do it, and also you'll just find many different individuals who have shared the way that works best for them. So, I say all that to say that there's no one right way. I'm going to kind of give an overview of what a circle is and what it does, how you can cast it, and I hope this video will be a launching pad for you to do research and find a way that works best for you. Now, I have a compass here, and I spoke about this a little bit in my previous video, but each of these directions correspond with an element, though you don't necessarily have to use elements. That's dependent upon your path. So I've got a few examples here. So north corresponds with the element of earth, so you could invoke the element of earth, Archangel Raphael, guardians of the north, or gnomes. Now, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. This is just to give you a understanding there's several different ways to do this. East, we have the element of air, Archangel Gabriel, guardians of the east, Sylph. South, that corresponds with the element of fire, Archangel Michael, guardians of the south, Salamander. We've got west here, that corresponds with water, Archangel Uriel, guardians of the west, Undine. So that's an overview of what those directions are. So you're going to want to call each one of those, and that's, again, dependent upon your tradition, what you actually use. If you're not sure what to do, say you're brand new to the path and you're working with God and Goddess, really sure where your path is going to lead, I would recommend working with the elements, because each of these correlate with the elements, so I think that's just kind of a really good baseline way to do that. Now, as far as what direction you start in, that is really up to you and your specific path. Whatever works for you. This is your practice, and you have to find something meaningful to you. Now, with that said, as far as what you say at each specific point, again, that is also up to you. You can research different ways to do that. Some people like to do something a bit more poetic and rhyming. Some people like to just kind of speak normally. Either way, that's totally fine. You could even do a mixture of both. You could do something a bit more poetic for Sabbats and Esbats, and maybe something a bit more off the cuff when you are traveling or just kind of day-to-day worship. Many different ways to do it. Now, I also want to mention something too. I'm actually going to do a review of this book on my personal channel, but this is Staubs and Ditchwater, A Friendly and Useful Introduction to Hillfolks Hoodoo by Byron Ballard, and she has a unique way of basically kind of like casting a circle, though she's not specifically referring to it as that, but I think it's really great in a way that maybe would resonate with a few of you. Now, again, she's using this as a way to personally ground, not necessarily as a way to cast a circle, but you can kind of see some similarities here. I want to say this too, there's a lot of visualization in regards to casting a circle and how to do that. So it's not just calling the areas, you've got to really envision those things. And what she's saying here is that you can visualize a wall of emerald coming up before you. At your right, raise up a wall of diamond. At your back, a wall of ruby. At your left side, with your left hand, raise a wall of sapphire. And imagine it creating a protective dome over you. I particularly really like that. It's imagining a really strong protective energy coming over you. Just this dome of solid rock, you know? So that's a really interesting technique, and just an example of what you can do. At the end of the day, this is really about intent. So whatever helps you visualize to really cast that circle is what you need to use. Now, I've also seen different versions where people use their wand, and also where, you know, people bless water, bless salt, mix together, splash the salt water around the circle, then take incense and a feather, wave that all around the circle to actually physically bless the circle with all 4 elements. You can do that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at the same time too, you may not necessarily be able to do that all the time. Maybe you're traveling, etc. So just think about that and think about different techniques you can use. In closing, I just want to say, if you're new and you're a little intimidated and you're not sure how to do this, don't feel bad. We've all been there. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme where there's a girl with sitting in a circle, and she's got a book and I think some incense, and it just says, "What am I doing? What's going on?" We've all felt like that. That's okay. If you're new, I think a good way to look at all this is as if you're a scientist. You know, you've got your hypothesis, and now you're running different trials of your experiment to see what works for you. So this is all trying and seeing what works for you. What you do now may not necessarily be what you do a year from now. So do some research beforehand, see what resonates with you, then try and progress from there. And you can always make changes and solidify what exactly you work with as you're more comfortable on your path. So I hope this proves helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Feel free to subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.